Pretend something that you are not. I'm sure that my story is similar to most, so I will keep it short as possible. About a month ago I found some texts on my wife's phone. I maybe could have handled it differently, but not at that time. So, about a week later she moved out with all her belongings. She told me that I depressed her when she is around me and that of course she is unhappy. So, since she has been gone I have found a lot more stuff. I was able to get access to her Facebook and found that she had been talking to a coworker of hers. Yes, the same one from the text, but she lied to me about who the texts were. It was some nasty stuff on her Facebook and that hurt really bad. So I'm not sure what to do anymore. She is in that fog and will not listen to anyone. When this first started I told me I wouldn't give up on our family. We have 3 beautiful daughters. But as time goes on the more I adjust. I found out that her coworker is married as well and he left his wife about a week prior to my wife leaving me. So that had some kind of a setup going there. I just can't believe how 2 people could do this. My biggest question is how long this relationship could last. I mean, they have to be the dumbest people. They are coworkers and then they spend all weekend together while I sit here and watch our kids. That is fine though, cause I would rather spend time with my kids. My mom had talked to her recently and she opened up to her a bit, saying that she just felt useless and didn't feel like anybody. I think that this guy came in at just the right time when my wife was going through this depression. Told her a bunch of crap. I've always thought that I was a decent husband. I go to work every day, cook, clean, laundry, change diapers, give my wife attention. I even give her foot massages. I don't know. I guess my biggest question is how long this relationship could last between them. I wouldn't think very long. Well, any advice would be appreciated. I thank you all and God bless. I'm not sure if I would want to reconcile or not. I guess it depends on what I am feeling if she does come back around. On her phone the texts were I love you and I love you too, calling each other boyfriend, girlfriend. It is kind of hard for me to remember exactly what the texts were cause I was still halfway asleep. We do not get to spend a lot of time together. I'm sure that may have been a factor as well. Our bonding life was wonderful. Everything was wonderful I thought until I found the texts. So, I don't know. I agree. I just have so many mixed emotions right now that I don't know if I should give some more time to clear my head. She has not shown any kind of sign that she even wants to come home. I think that she does think I will just sit here and wait for her cause the first couple days I was going after her. I will read up on the 180 and see what that is all about. I just don't see why people throw something good away. Human nature, I guess. I did contact the wife and I found some lies that my wife had told me. I tried contacting her a few days later and she said that she didn't want to talk to me anymore. Not sure if it was too hard for her to hear the truth or what. I really appreciate all the advice. I will defiantly seek an attorney. Anyone knows about getting full custody through an affair? I live in Texas. How good my chances would be. I know what is right. I just never thought it would come to this. I talked to her a day or so ago and she was getting a manicure and whatnot. I'm stuck here paying for everything and can barely eat. That really pisses me off. She goes off spending all her money and somehow I am stuck with all the bills. I really think it is time to man up and do what is right for the children and myself. Months later, I was going to file for divorce in Texas, but with much consideration I have decided to wait. All my family and friends live in Arizona. I took the children and moved back to Arizona. We have been here for a month. The kids as well as myself are doing so much better and it's amazing how much support I am getting here. When I left, I thought there was going to be a big fight over it, but she didn't put up much of a fight at all. She seems to be getting deeper and deeper in the affair. Not sure if she will turn it around or not. Hell, she is choosing over her children. I've heard so many lies and whatnot, she is pretty far out there. As for filing, I'm dead set on it. I have to be here in Arizona for 3 months before I can file. She is giving me nothing to help with the children. She seems to be following in OM's footsteps as far as her work is. I have been talking to other women but not sure if I am ready for that yet. I know how it is to get hurt and she doesn't deserve that from me. Afraid of her just being a rebound for me and I just can't do that. Just can't believe how screwed up she is. I definitely agree when they say an affair is like an addiction. Someone also gave me the idea of a temporary guardianship to a family member, just in case she thinks she will come and take the kids before divorce papers are filed. I think the better way would just have temporary custody. There's no way that she would be able to take care of them anyways with her only making $800 a month. It just really worries me that somehow she will get the children, and I know that with me they are stable, safe, around really good people, and I can provide for them. She was a really good mother and this shows how bad an affair can mess someone up. Everyone tells me that I shouldn't worry, but I do. I do believe that I've done the right thing. I do feel that I'm becoming the father that I've always wanted to be. As far as the wife, I haven't talked to her in any way for almost 2 months. The NC has helped me so much. I don't have to worry about her or try and figure out what I did wrong for her to do something like this. We all know she is to blame. I am curious about something. She seems to have a lot of anger, not just towards me but my family as well. Is this normal with WS? I know she has a lot of guilt because when I was still in Texas, she said she didn't want to see me. Like she was doing a 180 on me or something. A couple times I did see her, she wouldn't look me in the eyes. But why does she have so much anger towards me? I'm the one that should have all the anger. Is this normal with Way wards? She seems to be pretty angry, so I wasn't sure. I just don't understand why she has to be nasty towards my family. She can be mad at me for whatever she has put in her wayward head that I've done to her. Why does she have to be that way to my parents, sisters, and brothers? I have been respectful towards her family. At Radio Clash I am doing Plan B right now, but doesn't seem to have any effect yet. That is one thing that sucks, are hearing her on the phone talking to the kids. She seems as happy as can be. Then I'm over here hurting, trying to figure out what happened to our marriage. I did look into that, but wherever I am and I'm taking care of them on my own with no support from her. I have housing for them. I have insurance for them. I can afford appropriate babysitting for them. I can provide a really good environment for them. Can she do any of this? Nope. I feel pretty confident in what will happen. My WW just texted me. I don't know why she is texting me. She knows not to. She asked for my physical address and asked if she could have the kids for Christmas. What do you think she would want my address for? I'm sure she is up to something that's not good. About the kids, I don't know how she expects to see them. She has no money and a piece of crap car. How should I go about doing this? That's what I'm worried about. She doesn't need to bring these children into her bull crap. At the same time, I don't want it to seem like I'm keeping them from her. No, he hasn't, as far as I know. Last I heard they were still together. I personally believe that when it dies end, she will want to come back. She has never been alone and we all know that it sucks. A week later, I am in a little trouble. I'm having a good time with my life. I'm doing many activities, keeping my mind busy. I have a friend who I went to school with. She is going through the same situation I am. She wanted to take a friend that she has out on a date. Now I was pretty skeptical about it cause of all the emotions I'm going through right now. I thought about it and figured, what the heck. I just won't let it come to anything stupid. So, I took her out, and of course her physical appearance is everything I look for in a girl. We started talking and had a really great time. I was fine up until I took her home. She invited me in for a few minutes. Then when I was ready to go, I went to give her a little hug. When I went to let go, she just held on to me. We were hugging for a good couple minutes. That was the best feeling that I have had in a long time. Ever since, I cannot stop thinking about her. I've read all about rebound relationships and I promised myself that I would heal myself before moving on. I don't want to hurt anyone because of my dumb emotions that I have right now. She knows of what happened with me, but the feelings I have seem to be almost unbearable. Can anyone give me any advice on how I can keep my emotions in check? Final update. It has been months since I decided to move back to Arizona with my children and start a new chapter. The decision wasn't easy, but it was necessary for our well-being. Moving away from the familiarity and comfort of Texas, where I lived with my wife for so many years, was a big change. But the love and support of my family and friends here in Arizona has made the transition much smoother. I still struggle with the memories of what happened between my wife and me. The discovery of her infidelity was a shock, and I went through a roller coaster of emotions as I tried to make sense of everything that happened. The fact that she was talking to a married coworker who was also cheating on his wife was devastating. I tried to reach out to her and understand what led her to make those choices, but she was not receptive and our conversations ended in arguments. I have since come to terms with the fact that I need to move on and focus on my own happiness and that of my children. I have started therapy to work through my feelings and have made an effort to surround myself with positive people and activities. I have also become a more present and involved father, putting my children's needs first and enjoying our time together. Despite the challenges, I have learned to be grateful for this new beginning. I am grateful for my family and friends who have been a constant source of support and love. I am grateful for the opportunity to rediscover who I am and what I want in life. I am grateful for the love and laughter my children bring into my life every day. Looking back, I realize that the end of my marriage was not the end of my life. It was a turning point, a chance to start fresh and create a better future for myself and my children. And although I may never fully understand why things happened the way they did, I am confident that I will come out of this experience a better person and a better father. My comment, OP moved in the right direction and just forgot about his ex, which was the proper thing to do. Story 2. Over the last year, we have gone through a few changes in our relationship. I was complaining about the lack of physical interest from my wife. I went through a position change within my company. My wife decided to make a career change herself. My family, sisters, and parents all decided to move to a different province about 9 HRS drive away. So quite a lot of change in the last 7 months. About 6 weeks ago, my wife seemed to take more of an interest in our physical relationship again, and I didn't think it had anything to do with me. She had made the decision to change careers, and that made sense to me as a stress reliever for her. I was just happy to be on the receiving end of this benefit. She went through a few setbacks with interviews but landed a new job last week, which was more great news. She was starting to get anxious about not having anything lined up for the end of the summer, which was her personal deadline. I had crashed my motorcycle last fall and finally, in the last week of July, the bike was completely repaired and I could start riding again. So, I rented a trailer, took the kids and headed for my parents' new place. They just retired in May, hence the move to a warmer climate, so that the kids could visit Grandpa and Grandma, letting my wife have a weekend to herself. We had a great visit, and when I returned, she said she wanted to take the kids to the amusement park and do the tourist thing, which meant a stay in the hotel and some more pampering for her. Sounded good to me. I got to stay home with the dogs and ride my bike in the evening. Win-win. She returned home this past Friday and everything seemed great. I even got lucky Friday night. I told her Friday evening that I was planning a motorcycle ride for a few hours on Saturday, and all was good. Saturday morning, she asked if we could go for a coffee down by the lake first. Excellent idea. It would be nice to just go for a walk and visit since the last week or two were pretty hectic. That's when it all went sideways. She was really quiet all the way down there, as I was making small talk. We got there and we sat down, stupid me commenting on how nice it was down at the park with the recent changes made. Then she hit me with it. Are you happy? Still not clear on where it was going. I answered, yes, most of the time. We have our ups and downs, but mostly I am enjoying life. Her response, I'm not. My heart stopped and I almost puked. Then I started feeling numb. What do you mean? Was all I could come up with. She said, now I feel terrible. I thought you were feeling the same way. Then proceeded to cry. She said that she had been feeling this way for months and finally decided to talk about it. I felt like I had been run over by a truck. So, where do we go from here? Again, all I could think of to say. She wasn't sure and started talking about whether we should sell the house and how we would afford this change. She kept saying that she felt that I didn't care about her, whether she was there or not. I thought I had been giving her space to do her own thing. Reading books, watching TV, Twitter. She thought I was withdrawing from the relationship. I thought because of the recent physical awakening I was doing something right for a change. But apparently, she was wanting more bonding to try to rekindle. Unbelievable communication issues. I said that I needed time to think about this bomb that she had dropped. Went for my bike ride. I didn't ride much, since I wasn't thinking of my riding. I was trying to figure what the hell went wrong. I came home and told her that I wasn't ready to just give up on 20 years of time invested, especially with someone I still love. I told her that if she has already made up her mind to move on, then that would be our route since guilt is no way to continue a relationship. I left her with that thought for a while, then later in the evening we had another talk. This time, she said that she was glad that I reacted the way I did. She thought I would just take her up on the clean split and be ready to walk away. The next day was very cuddly and loving, not bonding, just hand-holding and closeness. Now it is back to normal, but is it really? I'm so unsure of where everything is. I don't know if I should just continue on assuming that she just needed confirmation that I still want and love her. Or is there something nasty and scary coming down the road that I'm too blind to see? I'm a little freaked out right now, but I don't know how to tell if she is being honest with me since she is acting like said it never happened. I'm so lost for where we are right now it isn't even funny. As for the being unaware issue, she said she didn't say or do anything thinking she would just make it work for the kids and the comfortable life we live. She says she still loves me, but just couldn't go on being so unhappy. What the hell does that mean? How can you be in love and totally unhappy? I did ask her if there was someone else, saying that if there was, we should find a way to stay civil and make life as smooth as we can for the kids. But she said she had considered it, but there was no one. But how would she really answer this one? I asked her last night how she could so quickly be over it, since it was months of her trying to decide how to talk about it then in one day everything seems fine. She said that she wasn't over it but was happy that I was willing to work on it, saying that my attitude was the biggest factor. And I acknowledged that I have been quite moody for the past while, and I think it was stress-induced, but that is no reason to take it out on my family. I haven't been vile, but I have been grumpy and short with everyone lately. We did discuss MC and may still go that way. Never hurts to get some outside advice. I told her that if my attitude doesn't change, that is the way we will go before it gets to this point again. It still scares the crap out of me that I didn't even know that she was so unhappy. As for the motorcycle, I didn't want to work on it until spring, then I started digging into it. I ordered the obvious parts, bent fork and rim, broken shifter, scratched up mirrors, etc. But once I got all those pieces in and put the bike back together, I realized that there were more problems. So, I rode it for a bit while some parts were ordered, then the new wheel bearings failed, due to my lack of installing them correctly. Not properly seated, so I ordered new wheel bearings and had to wait for the shop to put them in. Didn't want to take any chances, but they were booked up and the soonest I could get the bike in was 3 weeks later. I figured since I was going to have to wait, I would order a reseal kit for the other fork. And after further investigation, I found I didn't have the tools to do the seals, so I took it into the shop. That's when I found out the other fork was also bent, and it had to be ordered from Europe. So, the bike was finally repaired at the end of July. That's why it took nearly a year. The funny thing is, not really funny, kind of weird funny, in the last 3 or 4 months we have gone out on date night more than we have in the last 10 years. The kids have gotten old enough to be left at home and we have gone out for dinners, drinks, listened to a friend play guitar and sing at the local open mic. I thought things were getting stronger, and with the recent physical awakening of my wife, I don't know, I really thought things were getting better. Obviously wifey has a different picture of what is happening. I'm still kind of freaked out that I completely couldn't see it, or that I was giving signals that I was pulling away. I've been texting where I am in my ETA to get home more frequently, so that she knows when to expect me, and that's one of the items that she brought up last year. She always worried when I wouldn't show up at the regular time or expected time. But now I find out things are worse. I guess I just keep working on my faults. I still don't quite get where she was getting the "I'm done with you" vibe, since we have been spending much more time together. The crazy thing about all this is, I am about to change my work situation again to working out of town in a camp situation. Her suggestion. This just has me kind of paranoid about there being someone else. But it would be very hard to hide it from the kids, so I don't really think that is the issue. But it's just very strange timing. If said it hadn't happened, I would tell you that our relationship has never been better. Bonding is more regular, we hug and touch more. But now I feel like I'm waiting for the bad news. I guess I'll just keep putting in the effort, and if I feel things are weird I'll suggest MC. For now I have nothing to complain about. I would say the feeling last night was lukewarm. But I had and still have a weird vibe from her. I'm being such a wimp and it's ticking me off. I don't want to lose her, but I feel like I have been totally blindsided. I really want her to see these posts, but I don't know how she would feel about me opening up on a forum. So, I'll just have to stick to talking to her myself. We are meeting for lunch today and I really need to get a progress update from her perspective. I'm going to just be the best I can be and quit walking on eggshells. If it's going to work out, great. If not, I guess I will deal with that too. Well, our lunch date was almost a huge disaster. I had errands to run and she was coming into town to do some shopping for office clothes. New job Monday. Thought it was an excellent opportunity for FaceTime. She thought so too, but asked if we could have lunch around 1 p.m. No problem. I'll run my errands, buy some of the suggested books on my shortcomings. More on that later, then I'll meet her for soup and sandwich. I finished my errands by 12:40, so I went and filled up the fuel tank, then found a shady spot to send a text. It's now 12:55, so I said I'm just going to go to the coffee shop and grab a soup and sandwich. Maybe we can grab lunch together another time, thinking that her day was maybe running late. No communication to meet anywhere in the next 5 minutes. I got to the coffee shop and checked my calls. I'm riding my motorcycle, can't hear it ring, and noticed that she had answered me within 2 minutes saying that she was just leaving and could meet me. Cool. So, I text her back saying I was at the closest one to her, easiest for her to get to on her way into town. I waited a couple of minutes, then thought I would just order my lunch. In her email she had said we should meet at the one near the mall, but I was already at the other. So, I didn't want to just wait. As I sat down to wait and was taking the lid off the coffee, I saw her drive right by. I'm a little miffed, hurt really. Then I get a text asking if I'm going to answer. What the hell? Damn technology anyway. So, I said, not to worry. I just saw you driving by, maybe another time. Then I got a response of I guess I'll turn around. I've now finished my sandwich, when she finally pulls in. But I'm glad she came. We make small talk for a while about her new job, then asks me if I'm excited. I said yup. Tonight, should be nice. She looks at me confused, and says what's happening tonight. Without a break, I said oh. You mean my new job? Yes, I'm excited. Can't wait for the change. I start a new job on Sept 5th too. Then she picks up on the tonight thing. I hope you're not too excited. It's just dinner and a movie. I don't know if Batman will be that good. And she smiles at me. My response is the movie is your idea. I want to talk. We don't talk enough. Then more small talk and a nice visit. Probably the closest thing to a casual chat we've had in quite a while, and I really enjoyed it. Once we were done, she followed me out to my bike and said see you this afternoon. Love you. Then I got a rare PDA. Kiss on the lips. I think it was a very positive step and I'm chomping at the bit to show her why she married me. The books I mentioned earlier are for me to improve myself. I've come to the conclusion that I am the man of her dreams. She doesn't know it yet because I just realized it today. I just have to be the man and let her figure it out herself. I don't think all the problems we are having are me, but I do think I am the bigger piece of the problem. Change what you can and be the best you can be. I'm not talking about doing the 180 and turning my back on her. That is what landed me where I am. I thought I was doing the right thing and giving her space, but I think it came across as disinterest instead. I have to do some reading to see where I need to go. I just know I need to change how I operate. I thought I was doing the right stuff when I was making her feel unappreciated and said I was treating her like one of the kids. Why not just say I was being a jerk? So, I've realized that the man-up thing isn't to be a demanding jerk. It's to have integrity and stand up for what you believe in. And the nice guy isn't the correct term. You can man up and still be a nice guy with standards. That's where I want to be and will be. Right now, or up until last Saturday, was a jerk who was a part-time doormat. Not a desirable trait. Well, at least there has been no betrayal. And I wasn't doing everything wrong, just a lot of things. Not a whole lot better, but better. From the husband perspective, I thought things were going along pretty good, so I never thought to ask if she was happy. Why would I? The physical life was ramping up and life seemed pretty good from my view. But I think because she wasn't happy, she thought that there was no way I could be. But you have to remember, most men, definitely me, aren't very good at picking up subtle hints. If you want me to know something, you had better say it. Hinting will only frustrate you further. Last night went much better than I expected. The movie didn't start until 10:20 p.m., so we had a bunch of time to chat. We had a nice meal and talked for about 2 hours. Laughed, smiled, held hands, and she is starting to accept PDAS, which is something that always made her feel uncomfortable. I hope she isn't doing it and still feeling that way. I'll have to ask, I guess, since I don't mind everyone knowing that I love my wife. When she would act embarrassed, it would always make me feel like she was ashamed to be seen kissing me. Not a good feeling, so I stopped even trying. Another thing to talk about. Then at the end of the night, on the drive home, she reached over and held my hand all the way home on the drive. Silly, but it's the little things. So, I smiled for the half-hour drive home. No nookie, but there was no expectation of any. Just a nice evening out. I think I need to just relax a little. I'm reading into every mood, but with her starting a new career, this morning actually, I'm sure that our relationship isn't the only thing on her mind. She is nervous about taking a step in a different direction, so I just need to make the changes that I have recognized to better myself, and I'm sure she will get over her butterflies about the new job quickly enough. Then I start work out of town in September. I leave the evening of the kids' first day back at school. Crappy timing, but change doesn't always follow your schedule. I'm sure we will work through this, I just have to treat it like we are dating. And really, why wouldn't I always treat her that way? One thing I have learned over the past few weeks is that you should always be trying to prove that you are the one. I think that is what I have lost, so I have to work on proving that again. Otherwise, your significant other may start to rethink their choice, and yes, it does go both ways. But right now, it's me trying to impress. It's a very unsettling feeling knowing that they are wondering about their choice in partner. I think we all forget from time to time that a relationship takes work, whether it's a friendship or a partnership. If you don't put effort in to maintain it, you will start to drift apart. And that is what has happened to me. I knew we were drifting, but I hadn't noticed how far apart we were. No more drifting. She only gets a half-hour lunch, so I'm going to meet her at her work today. Spent her half-hour yesterday texting back and forth, so good progress. I'll just take my lunch to match up with hers. It's only about 5 minutes away. Got to take advantage while I'm still working in town. I now know what I need to work on to let wifey know I love her, but I also need to work on my social skills. We went out last night to see our friend play at the local pub, restaurant, which is our usual date night. But I was a total stick in the mud. I've always had trouble making small talk with people that I don't really know or have much in common with, but last night was terrible. I think because there is some tension between me and my wife, I was a little quieter than usual and she probably was too. But wow, there was a lot of silence. It felt awkward and I knew it was me. My wife tried to deny it by saying it just wasn't a good night and that she wasn't feeling it either. But after asking her to just be honest with me, because we couldn't fix it if we aren't open and honest with each other, she admitted that yeah, I brought the mood down. Still insisting that the crowd and mood in the bar didn't help, but I should be able to talk with our friends more easily. Another thing that I need to work on. I'm trying to figure out why the hell she actually picked me. I've always been a wallflower, but I now know that she really wants someone that is more interesting and outgoing. And I want her, so change I must. Yes, a Yoda moment. But in reality, both problems are the same. Communication, I'm terrible at it. So, I will have some work to do. Learning to make small talk and learning to speak her love language. It's a little strained in the house this morning, but I'm sure we will work through it. I just hope that she notices my efforts and doesn't think that I am slipping into my old self. I used to drink to be more outgoing. Not a great strategy and it will not happen again. Been there, done that. For me, it was more of a test to see if she really cared that we weren't sleeping together. And she didn't. But what I didn't realize is that she didn't want bonding because I wasn't letting her know how much she meant to me, other than wanting bonding. She didn't feel that I was attracted to her, or that I had any love for her anymore. Hence the "so are you done with me then?" comments that she made, and I wasn't clued in enough to get the "I don't know how you feel about me and our relationship." But I don't get subtle very well, never have. But I don't do subtle messages either, so if she was picking up subtle hints, they were not intended. But now I at least know how she needs to be shown love. And imagine that, it isn't through physical advances. But now I realize that all that time that I thought our physical life was sucky, it was because my wife didn't get the message that she was number one in my life. I think she is getting the message now, but it is still fuzzy for me. She seems to be addicted to Twitter, and is flirting online. Not blatant, and not trying to hide it. She says that everything she says on there is just a joke, but I have told her many times that I feel uncomfortable about it. And at this time when I'm feeling insecure about how she now feels about me, it kind of eats at me. I may be being a little oversensitive, and I don't want her to stop having fun. But the flirting bugs me a lot. She also wants to go to Vegas this November, but for me to go I would have to miss 7 days of work, because of how the shift in travel works. For one weekend of 4 days in Vegas, this would cut deeply into our household funds on top of the cost of the trip. So, I told her this and thought it might not be the best time for us to go. Our friends are teachers, so they don't have the flexibility to go on another weekend, Her response is to see if our friends mind if just she goes. I don't like the idea of her going on a vacation like that without me, but I also know she has been talking to her friend about this for months and have got it all planned out. My recent change in work is what has caused this glitch. My old job was very flexible about taking time off, but with this one I get every third week off. That's it, other than time off at Christmas. Well, I just got off the phone. 2 hours. Yesterday our conversation ended with her saying that she wasn't going to Vegas with our friends because I wouldn't be available. Today's conversation started with her saying that she was going to go if it was okay with our friends. I kind of went into shock. I had been so relieved by the I'm not going to go yesterday that I felt blindsided again. Then I came clean about my feelings about the trip. Quite a few months ago our friends were over, this couple and about 20 others, having a few too many adult beverages, and 3 of the wives were chatting about their husbands, mine included in the 3. The one the trip to Vegas is with asked the other 2 if they would sleep with her husband. I believe it was her way of asking if they found him attractive, not an invite. Anyway, my wife told me about this conversation the next day and she said it kind of made her feel weird. She even talked about it later that month, saying that she felt awkward around her or her husband. Then all our marital issues came out at the beginning of August, to which I was oblivious. Still feel like an idiot for not seeing it. During that conversation in August, she told me that she didn't think I was the one for her any longer, saying that she had thought about ending our marriage and finding someone else. She said that she wasn't thinking of anyone in particular, but my mind went straight to that weird conversation. Why did she feel weird around them if she didn't answer yes to the question? Anyway, I told her about my feelings about this and that I just didn't feel that we were in a good enough place in our relationship for her to go on a big trip without me. I didn't realize how jealous I was until all this started to happen. And her response was that she was troubled that I didn't trust her and that I thought that little of her. I told her that I could understand why she would feel that way, and I would probably feel the same. But she had to understand that I was still trying to deal with the first blindside in August, and I am just not secure enough in our relationship at this point. I think the trip is just too close to the original conversation for me to be ready for her to go. I don't want to go anywhere without her, so why the hell is she trying to go on a trip like this without me? It still bothers me that she sees it as me being controlling, when I see it as her not giving a crap. I didn't say it that way to her, but she said if it bothered me that much that she wouldn't go. I know she will be mad that I talked her out of it, but I think it would just put too much stress on an already stressed relationship. A year later, I thought we had gotten through the rough stuff and just had some reconnection to do, but recently she informed me that she wasn't feeling much different since the I love you, but I'm not happy anymore speech in August last year. That was completely deflating. I started working out of town in September and right away, things seemed to be getting better. Then we planned a trip to Vegas with another couple. The day I normally go back to work I got into a case of beer and got carried away. She was really ticked off and I don't disagree with her. I have a drinking problem and quit drinking. Those were the last beers I've had since then, but that turned out to be a problem too. We were heading to Vegas the next weekend, so me not drinking just didn't help with the atmosphere. The first night down there was okay, but the other couple had a disagreement and put a damper on the evening. The next night we went to a piano bar and everyone was having a good time, with the exception of me. Since they were getting pretty drunk, I wasn't really following the humor, so I decided that instead of being a bummer on the night I would head up to the room and let them have their fun. Apparently, that was flawed thinking. It drained the fun out of it for my wife, and I didn't realize that she had left her purse in the room so had no money to pay for her evening. She was a little embarrassed about that and of course I was to blame. The rest of the trip was very cold. No nookie for me. Then we went through the holiday season, which I thought went quite well. Things were getting back to warm and fuzzy again. In January, the project I was on, we lost the contract so I had to scramble and find more work, construction. There was no delay as I found work before my last day on the site. So, I was off for 1 week then off to the next project. But the stress was there for my wife. She decided at this time that the job she had wasn't what she wanted and gave her notice. She is a teacher and decided that she would go back to that in September but would substitute until summer. Fine with me, since I make enough to cover bills and her income was just extra to pay off bills anyway. But I think the stress caused her to have tension issues in her neck. So, she went to a chiropractor who said he could fix it with a couple of adjustments. Next thing we knew she couldn't use her right arm and had lost feeling in the arm up to the elbow. With me being out of town working, she had to deal with all of this by herself and I think started to resent me for it. When I came home, I took on all her daily tasks of making sure the kids went to swimming and other routine items. She went into the TV room and relaxed for a couple of days between physio sessions. Then on the set it got bad enough that I had to take her into emergency for some painkillers and they made some specialist appointments to help get this corrected. Things were starting to get better, but I had to go back to work on the Tuesday. So off to work I go. The next time I returned home, it was a very cold greeting. I was a little confused, but not for long. She let me know what the problem was. She was ticked that I had left her alone and ignored her in the TV room. She said that I knew she was having a hard time even moving and that I didn't take it seriously until we had to go to emergency. I was in shock. I thought I had kept the kids away and let her heal, when really, she wanted me to cater to her. With all the other crap going on, I didn't want to be the lovesick puppy sitting there staring at her. But I don't know. Now she is telling me that she doesn't know if she wants to keep trying for fear of being hurt again. I tried to tell her that none of the things that happened were intentional and that I was trying to be a better person. But she said that she doesn't really see any difference in how I'm treating her. She started marriage counseling a couple of weeks ago and told me that she needed me to be present and not to check out when I'm home. Okay, so this last trip home she wanted to go out and watch our friend play at the lounge. We went and she was talking to his wife, having to lean in a speak up because of the live music. I was on the other side of the table, so I checked my Facebook and Twitter, but she was ticked because I was checking out on my phone and not participating in the evening. I stated that maybe if we wanted to chat and visit, we should do something where it's a little quieter. She said she likes live music and I should have tried harder. I purposely left my computer in its bag at home and sat with her every other evening watching TV, but she says that I have let her down again. Her counselor has told her that she needs to take a few days when I'm home next and leave for a few days to figure out what she really wants, where she thinks her life should be. That freaks me out a little, so I said so last night on the phone. She took it as me not supporting her and that she should just not talk about what comes out of the counseling sessions with me. I told her that she really does need to figure out what she wants and whether or not I'm really the problem. I asked her that next time she presents this type of action, don't start with "I don't know if you will like this, but," and maybe let me know that she thinks things are getting better. She did say this, but after we were into the conversation a while. But that she needs to figure some things out and some time away without having to worry about the kids was suggested by the counselor. That way I wouldn't be immediately expecting something bad. I know, how selfish of me. She said that she feels like when I come home, it's like she has a fourth kid to mother and that's not the type of relationship she wants. I said that she feels that way because I come home to a routine that I'm not part of, so I do expect her to let me know what the expectations are. I don't want to disrupt the apple cart by imposing my expectations into a situation that is functioning. But she does expect me to just see it and fit in. I just don't quite know how to do that. I think I will be starting marriage counseling too, but with me working 2 weeks out and 1 home, it is hard. My work days are long and I don't have much time in the evenings. Then when I come home, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells and breaking most of them. We were taking couples counseling, but she decided that individual counseling was better. I don't have anything to hide and said so during the counseling session, but she has some things that she has to work out. And I think it's whether or not she wants me in her life. I told her that she needs to figure out what she wants without any guilt of how others will feel, because if she makes a decision to stay out of guilt, we will all be able to tell and she won't be happy, ever. She deserves to be happy and I told her she needs to make this decision without worrying about anything but what she thinks will make her happy. With the counselor's input too, just to keep her level. I don't know what will come of it, but it sure sucks waiting to hear your fate. I separated from my wife 2 weeks ago now. We had been working on it for the last year and I thought we were making progress, but apparently, she didn't and decided she was done trying. I kept trying for a few more days, asking if she was completely sure there was no chance for us. No chance that in 6 months she would say if you had just tried a few more times, I think it would work. But the answer was a flat no, so I signed up for an online dating site. The same day I had plenty of offers to meet. Didn't think women were like that. I've been missing out. I'm not ready for anything physical, so most of those contacts went away. I am still in contact with 2 of them though. One is playing hard to get, and since I'm not trying to get anyone, well, I haven't talked to her in a couple of days. The other is quite aggressively chasing my attention. She knows I want to be friends first and is willing to wait, up to 6 months if I need it. She's very attractive and we have a pile in common. Same music, same taste in movies, both like camping, both see a road trip as a valid vacation plan. Everything. She has expressed an interest in me physically, quite often actually, but said she will wait until I'm ready. Very flirty texts. But after we met for lunch one day, I was left with the feeling she had a bit of a learning disability. Very slight, mostly affecting her maturity. But when I asked about some of her responses, as they were a little confusing to me, how do you delicately ask if there is some mental disability without looking like a jerk? Her response was English is my second language and my French kind of jumbles my English up. Made sense to me. But over the last week, we've talked on the phone a couple of times, still mostly a text friendship, and I still feel that she has a learning disability. During the phone call she inadvertently admitted that she had a learning problem, so didn't do well in school. Now I feel I'm being unfair to her. I know she has this disability, but I am very attracted to her. Some of it is physical, can't lie about that, and I don't want to take advantage of her. Is it wrong to start a relationship with her? The only thing is that I also want to protect her from all the other guys out there. You know, guys like me who want to sleep with this pretty woman. Damn, I'm a pig. If I dump her, she will be vulnerable again. And the next guy probably won't care and just use her. I don't know if I can get past this disability, but I also don't want to hurt her. She is already quite attached. As am I. I just fall too hard, too fast. Damn. I know what the answer is, I just don't want to walk away. My comment. The bottom line is that the behaviors will still be the behaviors regardless of the reason, and regardless of whether you can understand the reasons, you will still have to live with the behaviors. Your brain will short-circuit it's an override all the time when it comes to a life, intimate partner. The other thing is you should not care what other people think so much. If something is right, you will know it, and you will be the one not having to explain to other people and just telling them like it is.